Hi, welcome back to Unchatable. This is your host Jackal and my co-host Marie, and our temporary Margaret, because Nick can't be here. And today we have a super special guest, the voice actress for Kasumi from Persona 5R, Laura Post. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Say hi.
Hi, I'm Laura Post. As mentioned, I play Kasumi in Persona 5 Royal, and you can find me on Twitter or Instagram at Laura Post Voice.
Awesome, yeah. So there's some people may be wondering that we're kind of getting this, like, getting Laura Post for Kasumi at really far ahead of time, because Persona 5R doesn't drop until like late March, but I think like enough people are going to be surrounding that already, so I think it'd be cool just to have her on like beforehand. And also that's like the soonest when the email was answered, so yeah. I mean, that works for me. So
Right.
so Marie, do you have anything to ask her?
I can't think of anything like right now, but I'll think about it ahead of time.
Marie, how's your week been?
Of me?
Yeah.
It's been going well. I'm finally out of a spring break. What?
I would hope.
Out of school. I've been recently getting back into playing Tekken, and just today I was playing a little bit of Tekken 6, and I'm just going to say Azazel is annoying as heck.
Oof. What about you, Margie?
Well, I just got done with some car repairs after being finishing up my college schooling, and car repairs are expensive. Don't ever let your car get into an deteriorated state, because it'll cost you. It might cost you like $2,000, but
Dang.
it runs well. That's the part I'm happy with.
Right. I myself been fine, just trying to rest after exam week, just pulling after all those all-nighters and those cups of coffee, so I think I've been fine, just been at home, sleeping, playing Fallen Order and Death Stranding, so it's all been fine.
Nice.
And anything you want to add about recently, Miss Post?
Honestly, I'm like almost done with work before the holiday break, because we don't, as a freelance voice actor, we don't really get breaks, but we kind of get breaks because a lot of people don't record over like Christmas week.
Mhm.
So I have one more session tomorrow, and then I think I'm free until the new year tentatively. So I'm stoked to get some gaming in and maybe like watch some TV and or movies.
Oh,
Right, yeah.
favorite
That's
games.
cool.
Favorite games? My favorite game of all time is Final Fantasy VIII, always and forever.
Holy moly, dude! Like,
Ooh.
I
I
love
love
8 so
Final
much.
Fantasy VIII. I don't know why people love 7 so much, but
I mean, I like 7 too. It's good. I'm looking forward to remake, but 8 is my favorite.
8 is my favorite.
I've been busy with other things, but I really want to play the remaster of 8 because it looks beautiful.
It's only $20 on PSN, or you can.
Oh,
get
I
it on-
already own it. I just haven't played
oh,
it.
yeah. I have
Oh,
three games,
yikes.
so I can't play it.
Oh, alright, uncultured here. I have never played Final Fantasy 8 or 7. Watch the cutscenes online
Oh,
because you have like a piece.
Brokero, my Kokoro.
You're gonna
Yeah.
go back. You're gonna go and look at like he's the most beautiful person here, but then you look at the actual screen.
I know. Well, they
Yeah,
fixed that
that's
though in the
fine.
remaster.
Oh yeah, then you can definitely see it. Yeah.
Uh,
But if you go back and watch the cutscenes beforehand, like those are gonna be years before they got ported to modern consoles. Even so, geez.
To be honest, I was really excited when the remaster came out, because
yeah, it came out of nowhere. It was really exciting.
Like my friend, like I think like it was during E3. My friends and I were watching the conference, and we were in shock when we saw like Final Fantasy 8 remaster. We're like, yeah, boy. Even though I never played it, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
was
think
in
I
the
was there
room and I
too,
just
yeah.
heard the like Beatles, and I was like, oh my god!
Yeah, it was a
Ah!
big moment for me, because like all people were talking about was either like just the 7 remake or Final Fantasy 14. And when I saw that 8 finally got some love after like remasters of like 9.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
that-
I remember
yeah.
when I think it was the previous year's E3, but it might have been like a Nintendo Direct. I can't remember where it was announced, where they were like, "We're getting all of the Final Fantasies, not 8."
Yeah, I know, right?
And I was like, but
felt really
but-
good there.
I think it was a Nintendo Direct.
it
I
was,
think I
yeah.
remember.
I think it was
Yeah.
a Nintendo Direct because it was all the games going to the Switch, and then it was like, except 8, not 8. All of them are to the Switch, but 8. But now with the remaster, it is.
It was like 7, 10, and 10-2, which were like
And
some of the
9.
most
And 9.
like
Don't forget
7,
9.
Final Fantasy
That's the
7,
best
9,
one.
10, and 10-2 will be coming to the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
And a couple other games I don't wait. I think 12. Was it 12? That was also
That was on
Right.
4, I think.
Right.
I think
Right.
6. Not sure.
Right. I think we're gonna move on to like my personal questions for Laura. My first one is, did you play Persona 5 or any other Persona or SMT games before you got your role as Kasumi?
I was in the middle of playing Persona 5 when I booked Kasumi, and I am still, because it is a long game. I have not
Oh,
quite
yeah.
beaten it. I'm in, I believe, the final palace, although I think there might be a palace after the palace sort of deal. But
Yeah.
supposedly I'm at the final boss.
That's
Right.
JRPG for you.
Yeah, exactly. But other than that, I'm familiar 4 because of the Him Daisy comics.
Yeah.
Oh,
That-
I've
that's
never
it for a lot of
actually
people.
played 4. I want to play 4. I was thinking of playing 4 after 5. But yeah, so I'm still in the middle of 5, but I'm 200 hours into it. I'm pretty well into it now.
Wow.
And I've never played any of the SMT games.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Persona 5 is like quite the grind game. When I first got it, I just took a whole week off of summer just to play through the whole thing. And even so, it was like a literal week it took me to finish that of doing nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
So
I love
I'd
it
li-
though, so
at
it
least, like-
doesn't matter.
Yeah. At least like once a year, I take like 1 week during a break or something to just try and go through it again. See how much farther I can get than I did last time. Like how much faster can I play the actual game or whatever, like a speed
Mhm.
run or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, hey, wait, who do I romance this time? Or do I just say screw it and go the full harem route and see
I
what
have
happens?
the hardest time picking who to romance in that game, as a side note.
Yeah, that's
Never had as difficult a choice as in 5 in any
Yeah.
game.
Yeah, just thanks to Atlas for having such well-written characters and like designs to the point where like you can choose between who you actually want to who do you want that your protagonist to spend their relationship time with, and you're like decisions.
I mean,
decisions.
but obviously in Royal the answer is Kasumi, so you know.
Yeah. That is true.
Yeah.
That is canon.
Yeah, that's
agree.
canon now. I'm sorry, that's just how it works.
Yeah, pretty sure.
Okay, so
like
my
sorry.
personal question for this post was that how does it feel like playing a role with a character named Joker again?
I think it's awesome.
Yeah, playing
Yeah,
a character dressed in black and red. Yeah.
Black and red, and has a connection to a character named Joker. Yeah, it was not lost on me. I wore my Harley dress to E3 this past year, and I was like, oh look, the colors also work for Persona 5. Haha.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think I do have a personal question. Okay, please forgive my wording. I'm not good with speaking words or
You're
whatever. But
fine. Honestly, I'm not that good with speaking words unless they're written on a page in front of me. So.
what is your favorite TV show like of all time? Like at the moment?
Oh my goodness, of all time. Probably Batman the Animated Series.
Nice.
Holy
like-
crap!
It's just one of the best TV shows ever made, and
It's
it's
the
beautiful
best
and it's so
cartoon.
well acted,
For me.
and like it's one of the big things that made me want to get into voiceover. I mean, I have a number of inspirations, but that one was like
Oh, I'm so
when I was a
jealous I get
teenager
to
as
play
opposed to when I
Harley.
was a kid.
Oh, you must have been jumping when you were hired for Harley, yeah?
Oh yeah. Very excited about Harley. I was also very excited when I got to work on Voltron because Andrea Romano directed that. So I was like, I've got to get to work with her. That was one of my like goals in life. So
Aw.
I was really
Nice.
geeking out and freaking out when I booked Voltron, just because I was like, I'm gonna be directed by Andrea Romano, and she's like responsible for all of the best things in the world. So yeah, that and Harley were pretty big deals for me, just as a huge, like, I'm a huge Batman fan, and I'm a ginormous Batman the Animated Series fan. So.
Man, this interview right now is like making me love Kasumi.
I mean, I already loved Kasumi.
I mean,
Like,
she's pretty great.
Yes.
You already have the Konichiwa.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, without spoiling too much, yes.
Aw.
We've recorded just about everything, I want to say, but I could be wrong. I don't know.
Right.
But
the lead into Kasumi a little bit more is my second question was, well, what is your actual like initial reaction when you got the role of Kasumi?
I literally cried.
Aww.
That's
I
nice.
had just finished a session, and I was getting into my car, and I was like turning my phone back on because, you know, I'm polite when I work and I turn my phone off. And so I had like emails, and I got one from my agent, and I was like, what? And then I just sat there stunned in my car, and I like cried.
Wow.
I really didn't think I was gonna get it, and I wanted it really badly, so it was just kind of, I was a little overwhelmed because I had really thought, oh, thank you. I really thought I wasn't gonna get it, so it was like just completely overwhelming when I found out I did.
It's just stuff like that makes it like feel like, I know like as fans of like games and anime, like watching these voice actors and like how much they leave impressions on us, that, you know, we feel like they're like, oh, almighty and such, but like, you know, it's like they're still like superhuman. They're not too far from us ourselves. They're a person like us.
We're in that age where
True.
like you can.
This is what it's
you
like
can
spending-
people like this. Yeah.
It's what like spending an hour outside of like you normally you go to a con, you can like you get an autograph from like a voice actor, and they say like, oh, you get like 2 seconds where you, like where it's like it's a talk, but then like you have something like this where it's a little bit more personal, and it's for like the span of an hour. So
Yeah.
when I got the reply back in the email saying that like you were interested, I kind of had the same reaction to the point where like, oh geez, like when we first started this podcast, one of the first things we wanted to do was to get a Persona 5 voice actor on here. I didn't care what it was. It could be a Jack Frost, it could be anything. It was like a main goal, and we started the show back in January. So in the less than the span of a year that we were able to get like not only a Persona 5 voice actor, but also like, you know, like we're fans of plenty of roles of yours. Like I personally am a huge fan of Fire Emblem Three Houses. So like with you voicing Catherine, that was an emotional blast right there. And I was also a fan of Telltale before its closure.
I
But
know.
hey,
Me too.
It's
I know
coming
we're gonna
back.
get Wolf Among Us. I'm very excited because I was really heartbroken when I was like, we're not gonna get Wolf Among Us 2. You've strung me along this long, and now I'm not gonna get it. So I'm very excited about that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm just happy to hear that it's still in development, because I was watching a live stream when they first announced it, and then we watched slowly along as like the last season of The Walking Dead came out, and we had the whole rundown of basically, we're like basically the company shutting down, the actual company behind, like Skybound, I think, behind The Walking Dead is gonna have to take over. They're gonna keep a couple people around. There's just a lot of work ethic that did not like lead on to itself. So
Yeah.
basically, like I don't want to go into those details, but yeah. I heard they got to keep some of the licenses, so hopefully Batman is one of them. So
Yeah,
like
I have no idea. But
Well-
I'm just excited about Wolf Among Us. Much like when they
Fingers crossed.
announced, because they announced Batman season 2 at the same time, I think, as Wolf Among Us, and it was funny because like I knew I was in Batman at that point, but I couldn't say anything. But I was way more excited about Wolf Among Us season 2.
Oh yeah.
Just because I loved the first one so much, and I've been wanting more for forever.
That's one of their best games, I'd say. For like,
Yeah.
that format.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Batman is the best one. I love Wolf Among Us so much. I'm a sucker for fairy tales, so I loved Wolf Among Us.
Fairy tales
No.
mixed with like real life.
Yeah, but
It
their
really makes me
Batman,
wanna go-
the Batman games are also really good. Like the first season and the second season. As a huge Batman fan as well, really enjoyed both.
I really
My
like
dad,
the depiction of Harley Quinn in that game. I thought it was
Yeah, it
like
was really
very
fun.
different.
Yeah. It's crazy because that's another one where I like auditioned being like, well, they're just gonna get Tara Strong in there to do it, so I guess I'll just do this thing and whatever. And then it was like, you booked it. And I was like, wait,
Nah.
what? That's supposed to be okay. I mean, yes, thank you.
Have you been watching the new Harley Quinn TV show that's out actually recently? The one that's like on.
Not because it's streaming, right?
It's
don't think
streaming,
I
yeah,
have-
on DC Universe.
Yeah,
and
I don't have DC Universe, so.
Wouldn't blame you. I don't either.
There's just too many streaming services. It's not even anything against DC Universe because it looks like they have some good stuff, but I'm just like, I've got WWE Network and Crunchyroll and Hulu and Funimation and Disney Plus. It's like it is, and Netflix. Like there's just too many. I can't anymore. I've like reached capacity.
Wait, did you say WWE Network?
I do. I have WWE
my
Network because I
gosh.
watch wrestling
I
from
am
time to
also a
time.
big fan of wrestling.
Like she was just like Margie was just talking about WWE. I think was like what she was talking about was how
Like New Japan and like pro wrestling and how American wrestling is like similar to like anime, where they have
Mhm.
storylines.
There's a lot of crossover in the fan base for anime and wrestling. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
we don't want to talk about like that wrestling match where they had the guy who walked up as Sans.
Yeah, that was
I remember seeing that. I was like, excuse me?
Yeah, it would be kind of cool. It's like to have like a Food War style or like Kuroko no Basket style wrestling anime. That would be cool.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like there might be a couple shows that kind of touch on it, but it would be cool to have like a full, like kind of comedy slash action adventure show.
Mhm.
I've seen like
Who's your favorite wrestler?
I really like Seth Rollins a lot. He's probably my favorite. I also just love the New Day as a unit.
I know that a lot of people say a lot of positive things about the New Day.
Yeah, I mean the New Day's great. They're fantastic, and I love them. I love all of them.
Hmm.
Yeah, they're probably. I mean, there's a lot that I like, so it's like, oh, who's your favorite? I'm like, what day is it? What match are we talking about, etc. But
That's true,
I always
that's
kind of have a soft spot for Seth Rollins and I also really like the Miz. He's very
Oh my
committed.
God.
Hmm.
He always entertains me, which is like that's pretty impressive because sometimes the writing is sort of like what, and Miz
Yeah.
always manages to entertain me. So
I always enjoy like the athletic feats of like how wrestlers like can, you know, do all these kinds of weird, amazing things with just like a squared circle.
yeah,
Yeah.
I sometimes have a hard time watching. I'm like, oh god, don't get hurt. Yeah, that's how I
Especially
watch
the era
wrestling.
where I was watching wrestling in like the mid 2000s. Like, well,
All right. Do Margie and Marie, do you two have any personal questions you still have left?
oh man, I'm actually kind of excited that I don't even know what to even say. Like, I'm talking to four posts.
But I would say like I really enjoyed your role as a Nozomi in Love Live.
Oh, I love Nozomi. She's like one of those
It was-
like special place in my heart roles, you know?
Hmm.
Yeah, it was like the first time I ever heard your voice, like in like any anime or video game or whatever. It was I really enjoyed it. And
Because
want
she's a
to
good
get,
role.
like-
Like, I'm glad that was your first experience.
like and just saying, all girls are best girls.
Yes.
Oh.
All girls are best girl. Although, I actually am quite partial to Hanayo in Love Live. Not gonna lie. I love Nozomi very much, but I'm very partial to Hanayo. I just sympathize with her a lot with the whole, why is it that I'm always hungry? I hate trying to lose weight. Everything is awful as far as weight loss goes. I really sympathize with her on that.
Aw.
Aw.
Loving food and trying to lose weight, they don't go well together.
Yeah.
So I do have a little bit of a soft spot for Rin. Yeah.
The little like gif of when she's like running and they run past the rice place and she like puts the little X up and is like, no. I have that gif and I use it all the time because that is my inner mood at all times. It's trying to just say no to delicious food.
All
right. I think with this point, we'll just move on to the common questions. Well, common question. We had a lot of unique ones, but I think a bunch of them rounded up together was... The first one is, do you have any advice for new voice actors wanting to get noticed?
Work on your cold reading skills because that is 90% of the job. And honestly, like, just start working. Like, there's lots of resources online and places where you can find opportunities to practice your craft, whether it's through like fan audio dramas or original works or YouTube projects, all these sorts of things. They need people to do voices, so why not you? I got my start online when I was a teen, doing lots of I did a lot of audio dramas with places like Pendant Audio Productions and Darker Projects. I didn't do much on the YouTube because it was new when I was a teenager, and now I've just dated myself, but it's fine. But yeah, so there's really just get out there and start doing it because the feedback you're gonna get is helpful and you can start growing as soon as possible.
Nice.
Cool. All right. Now we got the fan questions from the submission form, so I'll just go ahead and start. Actually, no. Hang on. Leon, the one recording this, actually has a question. Was who/what was your first, was your biggest inspiration for becoming a voice actress? I know we already have Harley, but who else?
Well, I remember I said Batman the Animated Series hit me when I was a little bit older, but when I was a kid, very little, first grade-esque, I loved The Little Mermaid very, 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 very much. And so I knew about voice acting that way, and I loved the idea of getting to do that sort of stuff regardless of what I looked like or what, just my voice was the whole thing of the role. But also Rob Paulsen, I realized, was the voice of Raphael in the Ninja Turtles, but he was also the voice of Mighty Max. This is the TV shows I watched. And I was like, wait, that's the same person. Oh my goodness. You can not only be a voice, but you could do multiple roles. I want to do all of the things. So yeah, starting from when I was a pretty little kid, 6-ish, I wanted to be a voice actor, and Rob Paulsen was a huge inspiration for me all the way into adulthood because he's incredibly talented.
Aww.
That's awesome.
All right. Now we're on to the personal submissions. The first one was from a friend of ours named Cams. I wanted to be a voice actress myself, but I never find the motivation to practice, and and I want to be so many other things too. What traits does a great voice actor have?
Well, as I mentioned before, cold reading is big, big, big. Because as voice actors, not only for our auditions, but also for the actual jobs we work, we don't generally get a script in advance. We show up at the job and they go, this is what you're doing. And sometimes you don't even know what you're going to be playing. It might be hey, you're going to go in and do this video game. And you're like, okay, cool. And that's all you know, is that you're going in to do a codenamed video game, and you show up and then you find out, okay, so you're going to play a 5-year-old boy, an 80-year-old woman, 2 different 40-year-old women, and a monster. And you're like, okay. So you have to be ready to think on your feet and perform well without having gotten to study the script in advance or really learn about you trust your director to tell you about the world and the things that are relevant to your performance, but you don't get the same kind of time with the script that you would in stage or film. So you really need to be good at those cold reads, which is why the practicing early is all the more helpful, because the more used to reading out loud you get, the better you will get at just jumping into those imaginary worlds on the drop of a hat, which also leads into having improv training always helps, because it also helps with being able to just jump into an imaginary scenario and react believably at the drop of a hat.
Right.
All right. Cool. All right, the next one's from another friend of ours named Miyanoi. Was asking, how often do you watch/play any forms of media that you voice in?
I'd say, I want to say I play more things than I watch, just because I play games more than I watch TV, generally speaking. So maybe 50%. That's a guesstimate there of how much I play and watch. You know, there's certain shows that certain things where I'm like, I absolutely loved it and I'm definitely gonna play it. Royal, I'm actually not technically planning to play because it's so spoiled for me. Instead, I'm gonna watch my husband play it. But if he doesn't get to it, I might be like, nope, I have to play it now. Maybe I'll romance myself. But you know, I played Octopath Traveler, and then there's shows that I haven't watched me in because I had watched it in Japanese. Like, I'm trying to think of some of them now, because I watched both the sub and the dub for Promised Neverland, and the same thing for One Punch Man, because I love those shows.
They got around pretty big. Was like, I remember I was watching Promised Neverland as it was coming out, because I didn't watch it. I didn't watch the first episode. I did not watch it until all the memes came flowing in about what was going on.
No, I want to say I started maybe not right when episode 1 came out. I had heard about it and I was like, ooh, this is intriguing. I think I might have started when episode 2 came out.
Yeah, I was with 3.
Yeah, I was sometime around there. I was like, oh, I need to watch this show. So I sat down and we started watching it week to week, which is murder with that show, because every episode you're like, no, but what happens next? What
about the kids?
Yeah. So when I got the audition for Isabella, I was like, oh, snap. I'm excited. But you know, there are shows that, like, I'm trying to think and I'm just failing. Watched Gundam The Origin, for example. I like Gundam, I just haven't gotten around to it.
Right.
Yeah, so you know, it's about time. So I tend to like gravitate to the things that I probably would be playing or watching anyway, even if I weren't in them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next question is from a friend of mine named Swift Sky. How'd you get hired for the role of Kasumi? What was the process like?
The process was I got an audition from my agent, and I was like, oh snap, this is for Persona.
Nice.
And I read the character description and I gave it a shot, and then they brought me in for a callback, which was scary. And I did the callback, and it's funny because I did the callback and I really thought that I sucked. Which is why I didn't think I was going to get the part, which is why when I did, I cried. I thought I was really bad, but oddly enough, through a like twist of fate, Xanthi, who plays Haru, was in the booth when I was doing my callback, and when I finished, I was like, I should ask Xanthi. I should just ask Xanthi how I did. I should just ask her. I should just ask Xanthi, because then she could tell me. And I was like, no, I'm not going to be that kind of actor. I have to just let it go and move on with my life. And I'm not going to ask Xanthi how I did. And then after I booked it, I saw Xanthi and I told her about how that all happened. And she was like, oh man, they loved you during that callback. They were saying all these nice things about you. And I was like, maybe I should have just asked, but oh well. I stand by my decision to not have asked Xanthi. I'm glad I didn't.
Nice. You just like to see where the cards fall in that situation.
Exactly. And then obviously the story is I booked it. I cried. I went in. I freaked out. And I had to sit there in agony for a couple months. I don't remember how long it was before they announced at E3 that I was playing her. And then I was like, oh, thank God they announced it. I don't know how long I could have kept it in without going crazy.
Oh dear Lord.
Yeah.
My attention has got to build up though. It's like, yikes.
I
like you're part of this-
literally felt like a kid waiting for Christmas. I was like, I forgot how this feels when you're like, oh my gosh, E3's only 7 days away. E3's still only 7 days away, but it's fine. You know, if you don't count the actual day of E3, it's like it's 6 days away. Yeah, and then if you don't count today, then it's like it's 5 days away.
Yeah, Kasumi went to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
All right. Our next question is from I Am Not a Pancake. It was, what is your favorite thing about Kasumi? Without delving into spoilers, of course.
Yeah, without delving into spoilers. I really admire how, like, the word ambition is always used in a bad way, but I really admire her ambition. She wants to be the best gymnast, and she is giving it her absolute all. And I can really empathize with that, and I really like that about her.
That's so sweet.
Yep. She's also able to eat a lot, and I'm jealous of that.
Like, it's like I'm concerned that she's not the protagonist at this point. I mean, I wouldn't mind. It's like she has an amazing design. Like, it could like strike against Jokers. It would be kind of neat.
Mm-hmm.
Like, give her a spin-off game. Why not, Atlas? You're giving you're pumping out all of these. You're making fighting games. You're making dancing games. You're making gacha games and mobile games. What are you missing here?
Yeah, let's do it. Kasumi game.
Yeah, like the dancing games, we have like Risei. Technically, Risei and Konami were the protagonists in like Persona 4 dancing all night. So why not Kasumi?
Oh my God,
Persona. Wait, I actually remember. I think Aegis in Persona 3 had her own spin-off, but it wasn't really released in Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
was released on like mobiles.
This just struck my mind was Persona at the Olympic Games with the protagonist being Kasumi.
Love it. It'll be perfect.
Oh God.
Gymnastics.
Atlas, get on that right now.
Yeah, Japan 2020 Olympics.
Mario and Sonic already just stopped it. You gotta pick up where they left off, Sega.
Yeah.
Do it.
All right, before we get that train moving, next question is from Nikki J. Do you have a favorite character from Persona 5 outside of Kasumi?
Yes. Futaba is hard to not love.
Kind of new.
Yes.
Futaba's great.
You.
I mean, I really
yes.
love everybody because they're all really well-written characters, and they're all super cool. But I mean, it's hard not to love Futaba. She's great. I also think Haru's adorable and a little floof. I mentioned earlier I had a hard time deciding who to date, and it's funny because I actually ended up dating Hifumi because I just had such a hard. It was like narrowly just barely beat out Haru because she's so adorable and sweet, and I just like she's so cute. I just want to like floof her hair. But yeah, I mean, and like Ryuji gets on my nerves, but I love him. Yeah, I mean, and Sojiro is also like the coolest dude on the planet. The whole cast is just really good, which is why I'm so like mind blown that I'm technically part of it now.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So, but yeah.
That's wild, yeah.
The Futaba and Haru are probably tied for top. I love them both.
Aw. All right. Anonymous asked, as someone who has voiced the character in Sailor Moon, what was your reaction to Kasumi's Persona Awakening transfer?
I thought it was super cool because I was in Sailor Moon, but I didn't get a magical girl transformation because I was evil.
Yeah.
So it was fun to have that like little moment thing happen for a character not related to Sailor Moon.
Yeah.
I know, like, I already saw on Twitter where it's like all the mashups with the Sailor Moon like transformation theme with it, like cutting it down, like the little choo, like for like the ribbon at the end. Like, I thought that was personally funny as a Sailor Moon.
Yeah, it was. I was pretty stoked about it. They had mentioned it to me when we were recording, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's gonna be so cool! I'm so excited about this game."
All right. This next question is for Spencer Toad. I don't know how to pronounce that. I don't want to say the British swear word, but it's tempting. Of all the characters you've voiced, who is the most like you and why? Which one has been your favorite?
Picking a favorite is definitely impossible. I'm just gonna throw that out there now.
And which one's most like you?
The ones that are like me, yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably... there's a lot that I feel like I have in common with Kasumi, but to get into all of it would get into some serious spoiler territory, so I won't. But that ambition thing, like I said earlier, like I empathize with her a lot in that way, where it's like just want to be the best so badly, and you're just giving it your all. And I'm like, yeah, I feel that. I feel you, Kasumi. But aside from Kasumi, I also feel like probably Akari from March Comes In Like a Lion. She's got that big mom energy that everybody tells me I have. And we dress very similarly, which was kind of weird when we were recording. I was like, I think I'm dressed in the same outfit she's wearing right now.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, so I probably am most personality-wise like Akari. Close second, well, guess close third if we're including Kasumi, would be Nozomi, for similar reasons of big mom energy and having dreams and wanting to achieve them and wanting to be part of the group. Like, yeah. So those are probably them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as for picking a favorite, I could probably never. I could list like 15 different favorites and still forget another 25, parts. So
Yeah, I get that. I vibe to that.
yeah.
All right. Next question is from Tavna. That sounded British. Are you friends with any of the Persona 5 VAs? I think you've already established the nth connection already.
Yes, friends with Xanthi. Also definitely friends with Erica Harlicker and Erica Lindbeck. That's, I think, from the main, the playable cast, we'll say.
Oh, dude.
That's the ones that I think would also consider me a friend. Everybody else, I know them and they're super cool and nice, and we're definitely colleagues and we've met on multiple occasions, but I don't think they'd be like, oh yeah, I'm great friends with Laura. She's been over to my house 15 times. Yeah, no.
Right.
But they're all super awesome and cool. And the kind of acquaintanceship where you see each other in the hall and it's like, hey, how are you doing? I'm great. Oh my gosh, haven't talked to you in forever. Yeah, I know. We should get lunch sometime, but then you never do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sweet. All right. Next question is from Anonymous, is once again, did you have fun recording for Royal? And how does Kasumi compare to the other roles you have done in?
I had an incredible amount of fun recording for Royal. The people from Atlas are so passionate about this game, and it was an amazing experience. I lost, I had to keep my chill when it was time to actually go Persona. I was like, yeah, I get to say the thing. But she's also, there were a lot of challenges, not in I was struggling with it kind of way, but in a, there's a lot to her character kind of way that I personally really enjoy in a character. She's got a lot of depth and a lot going on, and I'm just really excited for everybody to get to see it, and I hope that they like the work I put into it, because I absolutely adored every second of playing Kasumi.
All right. Next question is from Termin, our editor, is can you plug the editor's YouTube channel, please? No, don't respond to that. Marie, where do I keep the pink slips?
Here. This mushroom. This Mario mushroom thingamajig.
No.
Yeet.
Like Termin's being fired. Just kidding. No, Termin, you're not getting fired. But
Hey, Jacko.
Yes.
I need you to plug in Leon's channel because he's recording this.
can we just do it in a separate tweet when I've announced this, please?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have these links. If you wanted me to do time.
Nah, it's fine. I'm trying to joke.
Okay.
Alright.
Okay, moving on to actual questions.
Y'all, alright, you guys are spot. Alright. Termin, you're not fired. For now.
Yeah, we've established that. Yes. Okay. That guy 3331 asked, "What's the strangest role you've ever played?"
I don't know. There's a story some people are familiar with of this counting app. I did it, gosh, it's probably like 10 years ago now. No, it's not 10 years, but I don't know how old it is. But I did this counting app. Me and Erica Mendez were all the voices for this app. And I had auditioned for it to do like the narrator, because, it's like 1, 2, 3. So I figured, I probably can do that. And then maybe I can do one of the like little, because there's 3 little boys and 2 little girls or something like that. It's like, I could probably do that. But to audition, you had to audition for all of them. So 3 little boys, 2 little girls, and the narrator. And I was like, okay. So, I had like one, I don't remember what they all were now, but it was like, one was like a dog and it was like, hey, I'm a dog, blah, 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 blah. And then one was like a bear and it was like, hey, I'm a bear. Because it was like, I can do little boy voices, but I can't do great. Like, I mean, I've got a couple little boy voices, but then I was like, oh, now I've got this third one and it's an elephant. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing with this. And so I did this thing where it was like, I'm Ellie. I'm an elephant. And then they were like, we loved Ellie. It was the most perfect thing ever. So they booked me to play the stupid sounding elephant. And I played that, and I think I played the little girl. I didn't get the narrator. That's Erica. So I think I was the elephant and the little girl cat or something. I don't remember. The point is that this elephant sounded really stupid. And I warned Erica before we went in, because we carpooled. It's like, you should know this elephant sounds really stupid. And she's like, it can't be that bad. And I was like, here's my audition. She's like, yeah, this sounds really stupid. I'm like, I know. So I don't want you to laugh when I start doing this voice. And it's still there. I think the app, I think it's only on iPhone, and I think it's called Counting with Ellie, ELLY, and you can hear me be like, I'm flying, put me down, and it's like so ridiculous. And that's Ellie, and like a handful of people know about Ellie in voiceover. So like David Vincent loves Ellie. Anytime we're in a project together, he's like, you gotta do Ellie though. You gotta do Ellie.
Oh.
So.
Yeah. So that's Ellie. That's the best I've got for strangest, because I can't think of anything that's genuinely bizarre.
Right. All right, then I guess we'll ask our last fan-submitted question is from Fither. What would you say is the most common misconception people have about voice acting as a career?
That it's easy, because I feel like, especially with the influx of, on-camera talent that are doing more voiceover, there's this idea of like, oh yeah, voiceover is great because you don't have to do hair and makeup and you don't have to like memorize your lines. Just get in and you sit in front of a mic and you read your lines and you're done. And it's like, not even close. I mean, yes, technically you don't have to do hair and makeup and you don't have to memorize your lines, but you do have to work really hard because you didn't get all that prep time that you would normally have, as I have mentioned. And sometimes you just get thrown curveballs. You're there to do... I've had sessions where I'm there to do a 20-year-old and a 5-year-old, and then they're like, also, you're gonna do this 80-year-old woman, and also she has like a really serious monologue.
Wow.
And you're like, okay, cool, yeah, let's do it. Here it is, you know. And that's expected. That's not like, oh, Laura's so talented, she'll be able to do this. No, that's expected of you as a working professional, that if they've got something they need you to do, you should be able to do it. So, you know, it's a lot of hours of prep work that go in to before you ever even get into the booth to be that level of talent that you can just sort of jump around and be utility, and but also get thrown into a scene you were not expecting, you know.
Nice.
All right, nice.
Also, I think like voice direction, like for voice direction, is it easy or hard?
Like directing voice
depends.
actors?
Yeah, like does it depend or?
It does sort of depend. I've done a little bit of directing in my day. I directed the Little Witch Academia TV series for Netflix, like the voice
nice.
direction for the dub.
Oh yeah, right.
And I also directed the first Godzilla anime movie on Netflix. I think it's Godzilla Planet of
Right.
Monsters.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, sometimes everything just falls into place and it's really easy and you're just sort of steering the ship. And
Mhm.
sometimes, you know, you have people. Actually, I don't think this was the case in either of those casts, but I've also worked on other things where you're working with someone that's new to dubbing, for example.
Yeah.
And so you have to sort of teach them, but also you have deadlines to meet and, you know, schedules to keep and budgets to make. So there are challenges to that. I'd say the thing with voice directing is learning, having multiple tools in your belt of how to communicate with actors, because
Yeah.
actor has their own way of working, and as the director, your job is to get the performance usually the client needs. If you're lucky, it's the performance you want, but really it's you have bosses. So you want to get the performance that will serve the vision of the people that have the money, and you want to be able to communicate that in a way that works for the talent. You don't want the talent to ever feel frustrated. You don't want them to feel condescended to, you know. It's a common thing of like, oh, never give line reads. It's true, but some actors really actually don't mind line reads. I don't mind line reads when it's like, look, I just really need to hear the emphasis on the specific word. I just really need to hear this music, and I might not even end up using it, but I need to hear like, how are you doing today? So can you just do one like that for me so I can hear it? And then, you know, and that's
I can understand.
totally fine. Yeah, sometimes it is just a matter of like, you need to hear the one that's in your head. So it's just knowing like having all those tools and knowing how to like work with the talent. But so many of the voice actors that are working are so talented. There's you know, very little I feel like there's very little you have to do to get a phenomenal performance. Directors. No, but you also are in charge of, because the talent, as I mentioned much earlier, you know, you go in blind. You don't know the project, you don't know the world. All your trust is going into the director, that the vision they have and the performance you're giving fits in with that vision. So as the director, you are kind of the keeper of the world. You know how the other actors are going to perform their lines. You understand the situation that the character is in, and you give your actors that context. And you guide them to a place that hopefully sounds fantastic in the final product.
Man, I gotta admire the hard work that each and every voice actor puts in.
Yeah, I
Right.
mean,
Like,
the voice actors are like the hardest working people I know.
Yeah.
All right, looks like that might wrap it up for fan submissions. Not gonna lie, I was surprised we got like so many because we've never done like this style before. Maybe we should do it more often. Who knows?
Yeah.
But of course, we did get a couple weird questions. Like, I'm not gonna go into most of them, but one, for example, was like asking, hey, like, she has to like do the voice of Kasumi say something or something, and I'm like, nope, we can't do that. Sorry, that's I don't even want to ask. That could be a problem. And then one asking about spoilers, and then one asking one about, hey, can the family steal hearts of insert political figure and insert political party and insert exactly, yeah. I was surprised that I'm surprised we got so many questions, but I'm not like I don't know how to react to getting some of these kind of like really bad stupid questions. Even when you put a disclaimer at the top saying like don't be inappropriate, don't ask for spoilers. Some of them push these boundaries. But I suppose one kind of dumb question that we got from Bunboy Cooper, host of the Morning Gamer Group podcast, our friend / rival, go watch them or whatever, was ask, what's your favorite flavor of ice cream?
My favorite flavor of ice cream is probably, I just love ice cream, Moose Tracks, because I love peanut butter cups, and fudge and caramel and all of that is like super good. I know that's like a weird flavor to pick, but yeah.
Yeah, I never even heard of that actually. Like,
yeah, see, it's like real. I think it might be a Midwestern thing. I'm originally from Chicago. I think it might be a Midwest thing, but
I'm
it's
from Minnesota.
vanilla. Oh, okay. It's vanilla ice cream with peanut butter cups and Mackinac Island fudge and caramel.
Oh, I gotta try it.
It's really good if you can find it.
I gotta try it on a good day.
I'll find a local an ice cream shop and see, hey, do you have that ice cream?
But yeah, otherwise, I just like ice cream. I'm probably never going to turn down ice cream. I can't say I have a favorite. It's just like, what mood am I in?
Yeah, I get
what kind of like favorite like brand of ice cream?
As far as like normal brands you would find at the grocery store, probably Dryers or Edie's, depending on where you are in the country. I grew up with it being Edie's, but then I moved out here and it was Dryers. So, you know, hit me up. I'll do a commercial for you.
Nice.
But there's also like I think they're in Portland, but there's also like one out here that's called Salt and Straw. They're really, really good. They do lots of weird flavors, which I like, because I like to try weird things. Usually delicious.
I myself spent my early childhood in South Carolina, so I'm obligated to say Ben and Jerry's, but...
Fair enough. They're also very good. I also really like Ben and Jerry's. I visited their factory in Vermont when I was like 13.
Wow.
I know, right?
All right. Looks like that concludes the fan submission questions. I believe if anyone's going to have more questions, say so. I have one more question myself, was what role of yours do you think push your limits? Like, would I say like emotionally or like physically, or like what was the most difficult you could say?
Honestly, it was probably Ragyo from Kill la Kill. That show's really intense. And the Ragyo's really intense, and she's really deep in my range. Like, I feel like a lot of people expect to meet me and expect me to sound like her, and she's like all the way down here. And I'm like, no, I don't sound like that at all. So it was like vocally challenging because it was a deep voice, and she would go from like smooth and seductive to ripping your head off.
She's an evil mother, so
yeah. And there was just lots of, there was a lot of weirdness in that show.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, and in a good way. Like, it's a fantastic show, and it's a really good dub. But just those were very challenging to do, all those things. And then she does a lot of really, really evil stuff in that show, which is also a challenge to voice, because you try to find whenever you voice a villain, because like I've done my fair share of villains, but whenever you voice a villain, you try to find something that they're not the villain of their own story, they're the hero, so you're trying to find what makes them the hero of their story. And sometimes when you have a character like Ragyo, that's really, 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 really hard to figure out.
Yeah.
It's easier with someone like Nehelenia.
Right.
But yeah, so probably Ragyo. But it was worth it for how great that show turned out. Alex did amazing things as a voice director on that show.
Yeah, I watched it myself. It was an amazing time. A lot of amazing voice work from all around. Yeah, your performance was amazing as well. Yeah.
Thank you. That wasn't really my point, but thank you.
Like, I normally don't watch, I tune into Toonami. I don't watch it regularly, but Kill la Kill was one of them, and you killed it on there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
I still need to watch Kill la Kill.
Do it.
It's good.
I will start it.
All right. Then I guess my other question would be, is there a role specifically that you think a character you would love to voice at some point in the future?
Yes, Batgirl. I want to play Batgirl so badly. Remember when I was a huge Batman fan?
Oh, wow.
I've loved Batgirl since I was a little kid. She's always been my favorite Batman character. Since, not that I was a little kid when the Adam West show was new, but I used to watch reruns of it, and I loved Yvonne Craig's Batgirl, and then I just loved Batgirl. And so I just really want to play Barbara Gordon. Really badly. I don't care if she's Oracle.
You love the Arkham series? Like the Arkham Batman? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I don't care if she's Oracle. I don't care if she's Batgirl. I don't care if she's just Commissioner Gordon's daughter. I just would really like to play Barbara Gordon just once.
Yeah.
That's I feel like it's the last Batman related check on my little list. It was work with Andrea Romano, check. Work with Kevin Conroy, check. So now I just need to play Batgirl. The last one. It should be so easy, right, guys? Yeah. No,
yeah.
I hope to one day get to voice her. On the plus side, there's always lots of Batman stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So do Margie, Marie, or Leon, do you have any other questions left before we maybe close this out?
I can't think of anything, unfortunately, but
sorry, in the moment, yeah. I guess Leon does have one. Was what other Persona-related media do you hope for Kasumi to appear in?
All
Arena.
of it. All of it. Everything. I want her to be in everything. But that's I'm a little partial, I guess.
Yeah.
I doubt fans would be opposed to the idea.
Yeah. We'll see.
All right.
I will understand if she's not, but if she were to be in anything, I would be super excited.
Right. All right, I guess this is where we're going to have to close things out for the week and for the last episode of the year. I'm your co-host Jackal with my co-host Marie and temporary Margie because Nick is not here. And you want to give any last words, Miss Post?
No. Have a great day or evening or whatever it is. And play Persona 5 Royal when it comes out at the end of March. Woo!
Yes, hoping that you're not already swamped with the other March games. Jeez.
I know, it's a busy time for us gamers, but I'm sure you'll be able to squeeze in Royal because it's worth it. It's really awesome.
I
will.
I know people are taking weeks off from work just to go play. Jeez.
And also Resident Evil 3, since that's coming out 3 days after Royal. I'm like, jeez, guys, just slow down.
Yeah, I don't know when Christmas got moved to March, but it did apparently. So
I'm not gonna have any money to spend at cons because of the March game releases.
Yeah.
All right, this is where we take our leave. All right, this has been it for the year of 2019, and hope to see you all next year.